Good day, everyone. Welcome to my biology classroom. This video will discuss about the STPM Biology Semester 1, Topic 1, Molecules of Life, Water. These are the learning outcomes that you need to learn during this video. We will explain about the chemical and physical properties of water and relate them to their physiological roles in organisms. Water is very important for living things to carry out their daily activities as well as the cell metabolism. The water molecule consists of two hydrogen atoms combined with an oxygen atom by single covalent bond. Water molecule is dipole due to uneven charge distribution or unequal sharing of electrons between the hydrogen and oxygen atoms. The bond angle of water molecule formed is 104.5 degree due to repulsion of the two lone pairs of electrons in the oxygen atom. Oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen. The hydrogen atom bears a partial positive charge, or we call a slightly positive charge, whereas the oxygen atoms bears a partial negative charge. They got two sides due to the lone pairs of electrons. The oxygen region of the water molecules which are partially negatively charged cling or attract to slight positive charge polar molecules or cation. And the hydrogen region of the water molecules are partially positive charge attract to slight negatively charged polar molecules, for example, nitrogen. Water is a good, excellent, or versatile solvent due to its molecular polarity as a dipole. Last time we can use universal, and in STPM you still can use the word universal, okay? But it is better to use excellent, okay? So a hydration shell is formed when water molecules surround an ion or a charged particles. So this is hydration shell that form. Okay, and then this is also another hydration shell is formed. Okay, between the water molecules that surrounds the ions, either anions or cations. So for polar molecules such as glucose, sucrose, amino acid, they dissolve in water when water molecules surround each of the polar molecules, but they form hydrogen bonds with the polar region. For example, here, like the glucose molecule, if for the hydroxyl group, so they will form with the hydrogen atom of the water molecules to form hydrogen bond. So this is the difference between the dissolve when the glucose or the polar molecule that dissolve in water and the ionic compound that dissolve in water. One forms hydration shell, another is form hydrogen bond. So due to the polarity, the water acts as a medium, okay, as a good medium, okay, to dissolve and transport the polar and charged particles, which is ions, for biochemical reactions in cell. Each water molecule can form maximum 4 hydrogen bonds. Okay, so each water molecules can form maximum 4 hydrogen bonds with 4 other water molecules. Okay, again, it's due to its molecular polarity as a dipole. An oxygen atom, okay, in a water molecule has two regions of partial negative charge. Okay, uh, and each of two hydrogen atoms has a partial positive charge. Okay, so this attraction force formed between the water molecules is known as cohesive force. So water has a greater surface tension due to cohesion. This makes the water as coated with an invisible film, okay, due to the cohesion, okay, and the cohesive forces that form, okay, between the water molecules. So that some animals, such as insects, can stand, walk, glide, or run on water without breaking the surface. Water molecules also display adhesions when the water molecules, okay, they forms hydrogen bonds with the charged group of atoms or the molecules on their surface. So a very good example is the flow or the transport of water within the xylem vessel. So as you know, the xylem vessel, the vessel wall, they have cell wall, the cellular cell wall, so they have many hydrogen atoms and hydroxyl groups. So therefore, these molecules can form hydrogen bonds with other water molecules. So the force that form is called adhesive force. So the combination of cohesion and adhesions account for capillary action to transport water and dissolve minerals against gravities in plants. So you must always mention to transport water and dissolve minerals. Okay. So water has a high specific heat capacity. So the definition is the of the specific heat capacity is a large amount of heat is required to be absorbed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Okay, so this is because the energy that absorbed is used to break the hydrogen bond between the water molecules. Okay, uh, so this is the uh, that's why the water has the high specific heat capacity. Okay, from here you can see. So in terms for the liquid, okay, the water in the form liquid. From the 0 degree, they want to increase to 100 degrees Celsius. So it takes more time and absorb more energy, heat energy. Okay, so this table they show the specific heat capacity of different metal and compared to water. So from here you can see the water has a 4.184, okay, joule per gram per degree Celsius. So which is 4.2. So you can see they compare to other with other metals like the silver, copper, iron, aluminium, and ethanol. So water has a higher specific heat capacity. Okay, so you can try the activities when you are boiling the water, the kettle, the what we call the kettles they becomes hot, okay, faster than water. Okay, so this show that the water has a higher specific heat capacity if compared to other common substance. Okay, so as a result, water as a temperature buffer, okay, which is relatively slow to heat up or cool down. Okay, temperature buffer means this can help to regulate the temperature, okay, within the cell or the surrounding or ecosystem. So cells that bathe in water or aqueous environments have a stable surrounding temperature because the enzymatic reactions taking place in cells are sensitive to the temperature change. So this is what one of the importance of the water, okay, because the water has a high specific heat capacity. So another rules of the water, the properties of water, which has a high specific heat capacity, is the water helps multicellular organisms to maintain their body temperature. Okay, and the ocean and other large bodies of water have relatively constant environmental temperature. Okay, so which is suitable as the habitat for aquatic organisms. So all of these, you can see the significance or the role that, the importance role they play by water, okay, for cells, organisms, and ecosystem. Okay, so the role of the water here is as a term temperature buffer or thermal buffer, okay, maintain to maintain the what we call the relatively constant, relatively constant environmental the temperature not only for environment or ecosystem in the multicellular organism and also within the cell. Water also has a high latent heat of vaporization. So here again we can compare, see, compare the latent heat of vaporization of water compared to the other substances. See, uh, so like the definition is a large amount of heat is required to evaporate. So for the latent heat of vaporization, sure is to evaporate. Again, is 1 gram of water. Okay, uh, so this is the large amount of heat is used to break the hydrogen bonds between the water molecule and to evaporate it. Okay, so that to change the state from the liquid state to the gaseous state. Okay, so this one they require much energy if compared to the within the liquid just to break the hydrogen bond in the water. Okay, so you can see here is the 100 calories. So this is the for the due to the specific heat capacity, and then this one is the latent heat of vaporization. They require 540 calories. So you can times 4.2. You can get it. Okay, water, the vaporization of sweat provide cooling effect for humans to maintain the body temperature. So when you sweating, okay, when you feel hot, you sweating, so the sweat will absorb the heat from your skin to evaporate. Okay, so high latent heat of vaporization means large amount of heat must be absorbed, okay, by the sweat, okay, so that the sweat can evaporate. So when the sweat evaporates, so that means a large amount of heat is lost from your body. Vaporization of water in plants also due to the transpiration, okay, they provide the cooling effect to the plant. So the concept, same like sweating, evaporation of sweat. Vaporization of water from large water bodies such as lake, pond, and oceans helps to maintain a relatively constant environmental temperature. So this is to ensure the survival of aquatic organisms. So again, when the waters that evaporates from the water bodies such as the ocean, okay, so that means a large amount of heat energy is lost from the water body, so that this can maintain the relatively constant, okay, the temperature, okay, of the water bodies of the ocean. Okay, so this one very important to ensure the survival of aquatic organisms. And cold water is denser than ice. Okay, as you know, when the water becomes ice, okay, they freeze, so they will expand. Okay, so you can see the structure here. In the water, the hydrogen bond is they form and then this form or the uh disappear, and then after that they form again. So there is no fixed shape, fixed what we call a structure for the water. But when they freeze becomes ice, you can see that becomes a what we call a rigid structure. Okay, so this one we say they are like the hydrogen bonds joining the water molecules, okay, in the crystalline lattice. They become a crystalline lattice, they keep the molecules far enough, that keeps the water molecules far enough, okay, to give the ice a density about 10% less than the density of water. Okay, so you must remember the density formula is the mass over volume. So when the freeze becomes ice, so the volumes increases, but the mass still remain the same. So when the volumes increases, means that the density becomes less. Okay, so that's why uh, the ice is less dense than water. Then when we compare to cold water, different later we will study when we compare to the cold water. So then the ice, okay, due to the ice is less dense than the water, so the ice floats in water. Okay, so this one also very important, because the floating ice insulate the water beneath it, okay, preventing it from freezing. That means they prevent the whole water bodies become freeze, okay, becomes ice. So this one is allowed the aquatic, that means again ensure the survival of aquatic organisms, okay, in the water during winter. Okay, uh, and the ice is a good heat insulator to keep the temperature inside the igloo warmer than surrounding. So this is the concept, same like what we have mentioned just now. So when the ice they float in water, so they becomes a good insulator. So here this is the another evidence to show that the ice is a good heat insulator. Okay, water has the highest density at 4 degrees Celsius. Just now we have mentioned the cold water, okay, is denser than ice. Okay, but here the cold water when at 4 degrees Celsius has the highest, okay, highest density. Okay, so therefore the cold water at 4 degrees Celsius they sink to bottom, okay, and the warmer water that means not at 4 degrees Celsius will rise. So this one also important. This one they, enables the circulation of nutrients, okay, and oxygen from uh, sure, the circulation of nutrients from bottom to the water near the surface, and also the circulation of nutrients from the water surface to the bottom, and then the circulation of oxygen as well, from the surface to bottom. Okay, again, this will ensure the survival of aquatic organisms at different water level. Okay, so this two graph that shows the what we call the density, the different density of water at different temperature. So from here you can see the 4 degrees Celsius has the highest density. Okay, and this one they show the volume. Okay, the volume. So from here you can see at 4 degrees Celsius the volume has the lowest volume, smallest volume. So again, when we go back to the what the density formula, so the volume is smallest, the mass no change, so the density is uh greatest. Okay. Uh, the water at 4 degrees Celsius again tends to sink and helps to maintain the circulation of nutrients, like just how we have mentioned. Okay. So this is the ice layer, and then here got many layers. Different water layers they inhabit with different uh organisms, okay, different species. Okay, so the niche, okay, for different species different. Okay, so that's why we need this circulation of nutrients. Water also as an essential metabolite. That means they take part, okay, in biochemical reactions. Okay, so they participate in biochemical reaction of metabolism. For example, the hydrolysis reaction. Okay, so they involve the enzymes, and then they also involve, okay, the water, okay, breakdown of the water molecules, okay, uh, to cause the hydrolysis and also condensation. Then the water also used as the source of electrons and hydrogen in photosynthesis. So in SPM, you already learned the photosynthesis. So they use water, okay. But in STPM, so in the coming chapter, you will study the photosynthesis in detail, and then you will study how the water molecules they involve You can see how they donate their electrons, okay, uh, to the chlorophyll, and then how the hydrogens that involved in photosynthesis. Okay, then the water has the low viscosity, means that they can flow very fast. Okay, so as they have low viscosity also is as a result of its molecular size, okay, very small, and the transient hydrogen bonding, like just I mentioned, they are continuously broken and reformed. Okay, so that enables the water to flow with less friction, okay, through the narrow vessel and the alimentary canal. So they also allows other substances to slide over easily during the transport of uh, water. Okay, within like blood, in the blood, so there are many compounds, many substances, so they can be easily to be transported. So I can see here water's low viscosity and the solvent property. So solvent properties mean they can transport lah, okay, becomes a transport medium. So they combine with a low viscosity. So the water as a good transport medium. So they can transport nutrient, gases, waste products within the living organisms. So and again, if in look at the large scale, okay, water as an appropriate aquatic habitat, okay, for the movement of aquatic organism. You can imagine that if the water has high viscosity, so what will happen to the fish, okay, in the water, how they can swim. So this summary, we have go through all of these properties, okay, the physical or the chemical properties. So we can go through all these. Okay. So I hope that you can get benefit from this video lah. Okay. And then again, I show you this. I summarize it, the water properties. So in this table, so that you can study it. Okay. Uh, then this is others water properties. Okay. So that's all for this video, and thank you very much. Bye bye.